These pictures are designed to acquaint you with the duties and practices of a good waitress.
My name is Samantha Val, and I work at the Cheesecake Factory. I have worked there since the summer, so it's been about 5 months now. My first ever job waiting tables was at Hooters, and then I worked at Buffalo Wild Wings, and now I work at the Cheesecake Factory. My least favorite was definitely working at Buffalo Wild Wings. I hated working there. I would say that the Cheesecake Factory is my favorite. I liked working at Hooters while I was there, but I don't think I would ever go back.
My name's Mimi. I worked at Outback over the summer as a waitress. It was my first time waitressing, and it was an experience. What I didn't like about being a server was the stress, because it was kind of stressful. Like, there are a lot of things that can go wrong, especially when you have like 12 servers going on at one time and each server has 3 tables. Like, there are a lot of things that can go wrong, and I would say a lot of my stress came from my manager, because the only thing he does is deal with mistakes. So it's like, crap, when I make a mistake, like, he's already furious. I would say overall I liked it. It was a good experience. I like that I talked to a lot of people.
Grooming is the first essential requirement for every worker in food service. A neat waitress wears a hairnet. She has a clean, well-fitted uniform and wears long hose.
At Hooters, when you did it, you had to stand in a straight line next to each other, like military style, and you just stood straight, and they came by and looked at you from head to toe to make sure that all of your makeup was on nicely, that your hair was done nicely, that you obviously had showered that day. My first day at Hooters, because it was my first waitressing job, I was already nervous about it, but I went in for orientation, and they did all the paperwork and everything with us. And actually, when you got your packet of paperwork, there were different things in there, like nail salons, hair salons, different gyms, things like that, tanning salons, that you had special like offers with because you were a Hooters girl now, and because they always wanted your hair to be done, like your roots couldn't be showing at all if you dye your hair. You're supposed to go tanning, which I never did because I'm against that. But your nails had to be done all the time, and you had to work out. So, and then after you receive that packet, they go into the back and judge you for the size of your uniform. They gave me a triple extra small, and like when they asked me what size I would be, I thought I would be a medium, and I was trying to say that, and she was like, "Oh my God, there's no way you're a medium." I grew up with my dad, and so I wasn't used to like being around a bunch of girls who knew what to do as far as their hair and makeup and what kind of under and everything to wear with stuff. And so when we were at orientation, she was talking about what you have to wear under your uniform, and so they wanted you to wear a Wonder Bra because it's push-up and, you know, makes everything more, I guess, desirable. And you also were required to wear a thong because they didn't want you to not wear any underwear, which some girls did, I guess. But that really freaked me out because I never had bought any underwear like that before. But at Cheesecake Factory, I dressed professionally for it, and we sat down, and it was like having a professional conversation, not just like, oh, here's a list of what we do. It was like, how did our company start, and what do we expect of you, and like, why did they make this company, and like just all about their core values and how they like integrity and honesty and things like that. They're like more wholesome already. At Hooters, they really were focused on you pleasing the customer by your appearance, and at Cheesecake Factory, they want you to please the customer by knowing what you're talking about on their menu.
Some customers, like, they didn't want to talk to you, especially if they're on dates. Like, a lot of times when it was like a couple, especially like a younger couple, and it's like, you know, the first time they're going out, you can always tell when it's the first time that they were together. A lot of eye contact, oh, haha, that's so funny. But a lot of times if it's the first customer, if it's like the first time that they were going on a date, I would just kind of like leave them alone, not even ask them if they wanted any water, just kind of pull their cup to the side, pour more water, let them keep talking. But older couples, they usually were more willing to talk or wanted someone to, like, you know, be part of their conversation, or like groups of people a lot of times would want someone else to be part of their conversation. And yeah, it just depended on what exactly the customer came in for.
Foreign people typically don't know that servers work off tips, and so they don't tip. And I wouldn't say it was entirely intentional. I was just kind of in a bad mood about the fact that I didn't get cut and that the server gave me a table, and I felt like she gave it to me not because she was tired and wanted to go home, but because she didn't think they would tip. But I was kind of short with them when I was talking to them, and I just wanted to like take their order and get it over with. And anytime they messed up when they were talking to me, and they would like laugh or whatever, and they're trying to just make light of the situation, but I was like, okay, just let me take your order and put it in. And it was kind of a difficult time for me, but then they complimented me and they told me they thought I was really pretty, and you know, we had a couple barriers with language or whatever, but we ended up joking around about it, and they took me really nicely actually, and they were really nice to me.
There was this one where I knew that I was not going to get a tip because they came in and they asked for some lemons and they had water, and no kidding, they made lemonade. Like, they squeezed a bunch of lemons, they asked for some more lemons, and they asked for some more sugar, and they made lemonade out of their water, and then they ate appetizers. Like, they both ordered an appetizer, and that was their meal. And I'm trying to remember what I got on a tip from them. It was less than 10%. See, if they spent $20, I think they both tipped me $1 after that. And I was expecting it, so like I wasn't even mad. So that wasn't an issue. And then I've had some people that came in just really, really nice. Like I had this one couple that, no kidding, they owned a boat, and they were just, you know, on their boat up and down the coast just for fun. And it was like, you know, Ralph Lauren and Polo and Sperry's and all that stuff. I was like, damn, you guys are loaded. And I got 20% from them, and I guess I expected a little more, but at the same time, like after I got 20%, I was like, you know what? That's the standard, so like why do I expect these people to just be like shelling out money like it's no big deal?
I'm pretty sure the minimum is $2.13 an hour, and that's what I make. I made $2.13 an hour at Hooters, at Buffalo Wild Wings, and at Cheesecake Factory. Your salary is never, or like your tips or everything, it's never predictable. Like I wouldn't want to have, I mean, I have 2 other jobs including Cheesecake Factory, and so if I didn't have those 2 other jobs to support myself, I wouldn't want to have like a house or like a, you know, responsible things to have to pay for, because I would never know how much money I'm going to make.
Alice has the ice, water, and butter at all places before her guests arrive.
Some customers expect you to bring them exactly what they need, anticipate their needs, and check on them in a timely manner without sort of harassing the table. Other customers, I think, expect you to be standing there at all times, like ready and willing to do whatever they need for you at the drop of a hat, and they're typically the people who aren't understanding at all about anything. And then you have really laid back customers who notice, they pay attention to their surroundings, and they notice, okay, well, this is her section. Oh, she just got triple sat, and she has all these things or whatever, and like maybe they wanted a salad without olives in it, and it came with olives, and they just pick them out because it's easy to do, and it's not necessary to have a comp and then remake an entire salad over that.
Alice stops in the pantry for these, so she gives the pantry worker an accurate account of the beverages she needs.
I don't drink, so I know absolutely nothing about alcohol, like when it comes to like whiskeys, bourbon, vodka, the names of all of them. Like I couldn't even tell you the difference between like a dark beer and a light beer, which one's expensive or not, or like the terminology, like how up means like in a martini glass, or like all of those other things. So like I had a hard time figuring out what to put into the computer in order to make sure that the bartender understood what I was saying to get the right drink. And I would always go to the bartender and be like, how do I enter this? He asked for such and such and such. I have no idea what he's talking about. I can even tell you what exactly I did wrong because I still don't understand the terminology very well, but I messed up their drink like 3 times. And it was pretty bad. And then the manager wound up giving them like a free drink on the house, but they were really, really nice about it. They're like, yeah, you know what, don't worry about it. It's not even something you want to get into.
I had a customer, anytime I would explain something to them, they'd be like, oh, what the F is that? And like, they were just always cussing at me. And then like, I brought them 3 different baskets of bread because they complained about each basket. Like everything I brought to the table, they sent back and retried it. And like when I brought the bread out, they're like, what the F is this shit? And like just went nuts on me. And I'm like, okay. They asked me if I was dumb. Like, and the table that was directly to the left of them, like I had stopped by to ask them, you know, like how are your drinks and how's your food and everything. And I was talking to that table, and the woman wanted my attention, so she just reached around the booth and punched me really hard in the shoulder. And I was like, can I help you with something? And she just busted out laughing, and then the gentleman and the woman across from her started laughing too, and they were like, you just punched her really hard. Like, I mean, and she really did punch me hard. Like, it was hard enough for me to have to like really concentrate on responding properly instead of turning around and being defensive. And she didn't even apologize to me. She just thought it was hilarious that she hit me that hard. And then she like ordered me to go get her something. She was like, we need this at this table. Like, okay. And then, you know, towards the end, it was for someone's birthday. That's why they were there. And they didn't want to get their cheesecakes to eat there. And so, you know, we typically celebrate birthdays by singing and lighting candles, whatever. And so since they were too full, I went and got her a birthday sundae, which is free. So I gave it to her, we sang to her and everything. And then they had like a $170 tab together, and they took me $3 after punching me and everything else. Like,
A waitress gives attention to her guests by remembering what each has ordered.